Things are getting even crazier in Portland. And look, I'm not somebody that tries to be alarmist. In fact, I often am very optimistic. If you watch my videos, I try to take, have a positive take on what's going on. This is serious. And this feels just like the beginning of fascism. And I'm not being hyperbolic. You will see for yourself. I already showed you, I did the video on the federal officers snatching up random people on the street, putting them into unmarked vans and driving off. And now you have here, I'll start with this. Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler getting tear gassed by federal agents. This is not normal. None of this is normal. You had moms here in Portland show up at these protests. And you'd think, I guess the assumption was that, hey, you have a bunch of moms here at the front of the line. Don't worry, these federal officers aren't going to do anything. Well, of course, that is not what happened. Joshua Potash here tweeting out, Jesus, Fez just came directly for the Portland moms using batons and tear gas while carrying assault rifles. These are otherwise peaceful protests. And these federal officers are showing up and escalating the situation. Shooting tear gas at harmless mothers, at the mayor of Portland. Federal officers have no place in cities. It's essentially the military. They have no place here. Understand, this is Trump. This is Trump. That's what this is. This is Trump. This is Trump and the people around him. That's why this is happening. Ken Klippenstein here just put out this huge news story. I assume this is going to get picked up. I hope it does. But he tweets out here, CPB has deployed 2,174 personnel, 46 aircraft, and 2 drones to assist dozens of police departments across the country since June, per CPB document leaked to me. The operation is much, much bigger than just Portland. So let me give you some of the details here. These are federal officers assisting police departments in surveillance of peaceful protesters. The document, a draft of the agency's answer to questions posed to them by Senator Kamala Harris on June 5th, 2020, details the assets CPP deployed in response to requests for assistance from local law enforcement agencies across the country. So many local law enforcement agencies requested support that, according to the document, CPP was not aware of any state or local entities that explicitly declined assistance. The assistance includes a broad array of services like aerial surveillance, crowd control, unmarked vehicles, and plainclothes surveillance. Several requests involve specialized tactical units like CPB's amphibious ravine force. An index lists requests from various metropolitan police departments, including the NYPD, Chicago PD, Miami PD, Philadelphia PD, San Diego PD, and DC's Metropolitan PD. Even federal agencies requested assistance, including several FBI field offices and the Drug Enforcement Agency. CPP aerial assets have been deployed to a variety of states, including Illinois, New York, Ohio, Texas, Michigan, California, Florida, and Minnesota. So in addition to everything else, in addition to the kidnapping of random people, random protesters off the streets into unmarked vans, in addition to the tear gassing of mothers, of the mayor, of other peaceful protesters, you have here a federal agency assisting in surveillance of people on the ground. Now, I like to give glimmers of hope here. One glimmer of hope, this from Bloomberg City Lab. Philadelphia's top prosecutor is prepared to arrest federal agents. So this is Larry Krasner, the DA of Philadelphia. If you look back on my history, I did a video when Larry Krasner won his race, because it was a big deal that someone like Larry Krasner was able to win, to attain that seat in Philadelphia, become the DA. So he was somebody who was backed by Bernie Sanders. He's someone who takes a very different approach to enforcement and that role in general. And you see it here in what he says. So let me actually get you a quote from this. So from Larry Krasner, he says, "My dad volunteered and served in World War II to fight fascism, like most of my uncles, so we would not have an American president brutalizing and kidnapping Americans for exercising their constitutional rights and trying to make America a better place, which is what patriots do," said Philadelphia District Attorney Larry Krasner in a statement. "Anyone, including federal law enforcement, who unlawfully assaults and kidnaps people will face criminal charges from my office." So even though, as I mentioned here, Philly's actually on the list, apparently on the list here, Larry Krasner isn't a part of that, but the Philly PD looking for assistance from the CPB, Larry Krasner is willing to charge any federal officers who are acting unlawfully. So this is a potential deterrent. I guess we're going to have to see, as right now Portland really is the hotspot for this. But Trump has signaled that this is going to happen in other cities as well. So again, I told you, this is the beginning. This is the beginning. And it also makes me worry a lot about the election, because we're all taking it for granted that Biden right now is up by 15 points, which I do believe. I think Biden is in the lead by a lot, including in those swing states, not just nationally. You look at every data point, he's up by much wider margins than Hillary Clinton was against Trump in 2016. So, all things equal, if the election's fair, people that want to vote are able to vote, I think Biden would absolutely destroy Donald Trump. But I don't expect there to be a fair election. Trump's going to try something. And even if they can't do anything on election day, Bill Barr is going to try something after Trump loses. So you can't take this for granted. Let me just read last piece here. Trump claims the federal intervention is needed due to excessive violence, particularly around federal statues and monuments. But legal experts have said the reported federal actions in Portland far exceed legal boundaries. Now, there's a big interview here. Again, I linked to all sources below the video, but a great interview here with Larry Krasner at Bloomberg, surprisingly. So I'll link to that below. Check out the full interview. But look, you have to be aware how serious this is. What you're seeing in Portland right now, and the reality is a lot of you aren't seeing it. I'm not sure it's getting the coverage that it needs to get in the mainstream press. But a lot of what you're seeing, videos like this of, look, this is a group of people. They're not doing anything. They're not harming anybody. They're protesting, which they are allowed to do. It is in the Constitution. I may be a Canadian, but one thing I do know about the Constitution, you are allowed to peacefully assemble. That's what is happening here. And they're getting gassed. They're getting beaten. They're getting kidnapped off the street. It's unbelievable. And you can't take democracy for granted. You can't. You have to be aware of how serious this is and that this is Donald Trump's America.